Ever feel like you need a guidebook, to navigate those UAE finances, especially when it comes to credit cards?
Oh, absolutely.
They can be so confusing.
Yeah.
So many options.
Right.
Today, we're doing a deep dive into one that's been generating a lot of buzz, the Wio Mastercard World Card.
Okay.
And we'll break it down so you can decide if it's right for you.
You know, what's fascinating to me about this card is it's almost like having two cards in one.
Really? What do you mean?
You can use your own money, just like a debit card,
Okay.
or you can tap into a line of credit.
Oh, a bit of a hybrid card. So walk me through how that works.
So let's say you're at the store, right?
Yeah.
And your available funds are a little low at that moment. Instead of, scrambling to transfer money or switch cards, you can seamlessly just change to the Wio credit option
Yeah.
and cover the rest,
Oh, so it's all through the same card.
all through the same card.
That's pretty convenient.
Very much so, yeah.
So could I potentially ditch all my other cards and just carry the Wio?
Well, you might be tempted, but there are a couple of things to keep in mind.
Okay.
While you do get a virtual card instantly for online purchases and all that,
Right.
you will need the physical card for those cash withdrawals.
Okay, that's good to know. So it's not a complete replacement just yet.
Not completely, no.
Now let's talk cashback,
Okay.
because everybody loves cashback.
Absolutely, yeah.
What's the deal with this card?
So they have this interesting system
Yeah.
where if you use your own funds, you get 1% cash back.
Oh.
Pretty standard.
Yeah.
But if you utilize the Wio credit feature, it jumps to 2% on all purchases.
Ooh, okay. So 2% is definitely more enticing.
Yeah.
Are there any categories where this card really stands out from the other cards here in the UAE?
You know, it's interesting. You actually get 1% cash back on any payments you make towards other UAE credit cards.
Oh, okay.
That's not something I've seen very often.
Right. So like this card is rewarding you for getting a handle on your other credit cards.
Yeah, that's a different way to think about it.
Very interesting. But before I get too excited, is there a limit on that cash back?
There is. There's a monthly cap of 2,500 dirhams on cash back.
Oh, okay. So you do have to be a little bit strategic.
Exactly.
It's not unlimited cash back, unfortunately.
Right.
So who is this card really designed for?
Well, when you look at the eligibility, it's pretty standard for UAE, I would say.
Okay.
You have to be between 21 and 64 years old.
Okay.
You need to currently be employed.
Yeah.
And have a minimum monthly salary of 5,000 dirhams.
Okay. So those are, like you said, pretty standard.
Yeah.
But meeting those requirements, does that guarantee approval?
Well, that's just the first step, right? Wio actually makes the final decision.
So they take a look at each individual application.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, so something else caught my eye in the material. This Easy Cash feature. What's that?
Easy cash.
Yeah.
Think of it like, a safety net for those unexpected expenses.
Okay.
Essentially, you can request a cash advance up to 50% of your approved credit limit.
Oh, so it's like having a short-term loan, but directly from your Wio Mastercard.
In a way, yeah.
That could come in handy,
Yeah.
but I'm sure there's a catch.
Well, there are always things to consider.
Right, of course.
With Easy Cash, it does come with daily fees.
Ah.
These
oh,
are
no.
calculated based on the amount that you actually borrow.
Okay, so it's not free money. What do those fees look like?
Unfortunately, the source material we have doesn't specify the exact percentage for the daily fee,
Okay.
but it does say that if you make multiple Easy Cash requests within a 30-day period,
Okay.
on that 30th day, any outstanding balances from those requests, plus all those fees you've accumulated,
Yeah.
all of that becomes due.
Okay. So multiple requests within that 30-day period could really add up,
Potentially, yeah.
especially with those daily fees.
Right.
It sounds like Easy Cash is definitely something you need to, plan for, calculate. Yes.
Before you just kind of jump into...
Absolutely have an exit strategy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not something you want to go into blindly.
Right.
Definitely something to think about before you use that feature.
Absolutely.
So if I'm using the Wio Mastercard World Card, how does repayment work? Is it like other cards where I get a statement every month?
Yeah, very similar. You actually get a really detailed statement every month through the Wio app.
Okay.
And you know what's nice?
What's that?
You get to choose your statement date.
Oh, okay.
So you can align it with like your paychecks or when you pay other bills.
So I like that kind of flexibility.
Yeah.
So I get the statement, it shows me all the transactions for the credit I've used, and then I have to pay the whole thing off by the due date. Right? You don't have to pay the full amount, but there is a minimum you've got to pay.
Oh, okay. What's that?
At least 5% of whatever the outstanding balance is, or 100 dirhams, whichever one is higher.
Okay, so there is an option to roll over some of that balance to the next month,
Exactly, yeah.
but I imagine there's probably a fee involved.
You're right. You're right. There is a monthly fee of 3.25% on the amount that you roll over.
Okay.
And that's where those illustrations, remember those sample ones in the document?
Yeah, they seem pretty important.
Yeah, they show you how those fees, they might seem small, right? 3.25%,
Yeah,
but they can really add up if you're not careful,
right.
especially if you're carrying a big balance and only making that minimum payment every month.
It can get out of hand.
Yeah, you end up potentially paying like a 39% annual rate.
Wow, that's a lot. It's tempting in the short term to just pay the minimum, but it's like you're sacrificing those long-term financial goals.
It's all about finding that balance, right?
Exactly.
Managing it well.
Yeah, so you got to be smart about how you use this card, just like any credit card, right?
All right.
It's a tool, not a free pass.
Exactly.
Now, the document also talked about, some of the safeguards, maybe some consequences. What happens if someone misses payments or, uses the card irresponsibly?
Well, Wio's pretty upfront about that.
Okay.
They have the right to decline transactions if they seem iffy.
Yeah.
They can restrict how you use the card.
Okay.
Or even cancel that credit limit entirely.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not keeping up with those minimum payments.
Okay.
Or if you're no longer living in the UAE.
So they're really making sure that it's being used responsibly. They're not messing around.
No, they want to make sure it's used properly.
Yeah.
And, another thing they emphasize, this card is for personal use.
Okay.
So we're not talking about, racking up those business expenses on this card.
Right. So it has a specific purpose.
It does.
Okay. Now, let's say someone's listening and they're thinking, maybe this Wio Mastercard World Card isn't for me.
Yeah.
Can they back out easily?
They can. You can actually cancel your credit limit whenever you want without any penalties.
Oh, okay.
You would still have to settle, of course, any outstanding balance.
Right.
Make sure all the fees are paid up.
Right. So it's not completely consequence-free.
Right.
But there is that flexibility to back out.
You have that option.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah. Is there anything that might limit that flexibility?
There is one exception they mention. It has to do with the Easy Cash.
Okay.
So when you go through the process, once you initiate that request for Easy Cash, that usual cooling off period, that doesn't apply anymore.
So once you click that button, you're kind of locked in.
You are committed to that transaction, yeah.
So, again, Easy Cash.
Yeah.
Something to be very mindful of.
Think it through, definitely.
Before you take that step.
Absolutely.
Well, it seems like a good rule of thumb for any financial decision.
Yeah, always.
Take your time, do your research.
Understand those terms and conditions, yeah.
Exactly. Don't rush into anything.
For sure.
Well, there we have it. The Wio Mastercard World Card. We've looked at the ins, the outs, the good, the bad.
Yeah, all the different sides. And now, it's really up to the listener.
It's about making that informed decision now.
Exactly. Does this card belong in your wallet?
Right. Based on your own, financial goals and habits.
Absolutely.
And what really struck me, going through this material, Wio really emphasizes that responsible credit card use.
Yeah, they do. It's a recurring theme.
It is. And it's a good reminder for all of us, right?
For sure.
No matter what card you have, you've got to know those terms.
Yeah.
You've got to manage it wisely.
Take it work for you, not against you.
Absolutely. That's the key.
Well, that's another deep dive into the world of finance.
Another one down.
Until next time, keep exploring. Make those money moves work for you.
See you next time.
Bye.